We are here at Knightdale Station, one of the most popular new developments on the east side of the triangle. This is a Dream Finders community. We're looking at Paddington Station. We've got some amazing floor plans that I'm gonna show you guys today, all under $400,000. Incredible homes, extremely affordable. Can't wait to show you these.
And you're gonna love Knightdale Station if you like built-in schools, great amenities, local parks, immediate access to shopping, and quick access to 540 for easy commutes.
We're here at the first model home. This is our Magnolia floor plan. This is the second largest floor plan that they offer here in the community. You have just under 1,800 square foot. You have 3 to 4 bedrooms, and you have 2 baths with the option to go up to 3 baths in this home.
Now, these are spec homes, so you don't get a lot of customizations, but they do present a lot of options, so every lot is going to be different.
Now, the first thing you notice when you walk in is, even though these are designed to be more of your starter homes, they don't necessarily feel like it. They still have a lot of finishes and upgrades that you wouldn't necessarily expect. Now, this is your model home, so you're going to see the higher end cabinetry, the higher end lighting fixtures, and all that kind of stuff. A lot of these are going to be upgrades, and then some of these are just them showing off things that you can't even choose once you're in the customization center. But Dream Finders is known for being pretty customizable, and that's one thing I like about working with them. Some things that they threw in on this model house that I really like is the custom cabinetry. They have the trim on the top, which gives it more of an upscale look. Some of the light fixtures here with that bronze finish, I'm a big fan of that. And even the sink right here, the way they mounted it under the countertop instead of over, it just gives it a classy look here. Another feature I really love that I wish more builders would do is the slide out trash can and recycling bin. Another thing that you're gonna like is that they have gas in this community. What I've noticed is pretty much every new community these days is gonna offer gas. Now, not every builder is gonna offer gas included. For most builders like this one, it is going to be an upgrade. You can choose to have gas. I find that most people want gas these days, especially since COVID. So if you want gas, then that's something you can definitely find here at the community. And it's normally not very expensive to upgrade. Appliances are another one of those things that they're gonna charge you extra for, but I always ask the builder to negotiate it into the deal, and it's one of the easiest things that we can get a builder to throw into when we're in the middle of negotiation. Now, these are your stainless steel Frigidaire, so this is definitely more of your budget-friendly appliances. They'll do just fine. Most people, I find, don't care that much about the brands, but if you're wanting more of your higher-end brands, like you want to have a KitchenAid in your kitchen, then you'd have to work that out outside of the builder after you close on the house. Another thing that really surprised me on this house is that despite all the cabinetry that you have for storage, you also get a full walk-in pantry, which is one of the largest walk-in pantries that I've seen on a house that is brand new in this price point in a long time. One thing that I encourage most of my clients to do is pay to upgrade to have more windows. Typically they'll throw in a few, but you can add a window here, a window there, if you want to have more natural light. And I find that it makes it a lot easier to resell in the future because people love natural light, and with a new home, chances are you're not gonna have to worry about replacing or repairing these windows while you're the homeowner. So I always say the more windows, the better. That's one thing that they did really well in this new home, making it feel nice and bright. For your floors, this is your darker LVP. LVP is a great product. There's a reason it's used with so many builders. It's affordable, but it's gonna last you a long time. Very durable, scratch-proof, waterproof. Highly recommend that you have LVP in your home, especially if you're wanting to do it at an affordable price point. The living room is a bit on the small side. Again, this is your starter home, so it just depends on how large your furniture is. If you had a large U-shape or L-shaped sectional in here, that would take up a good chunk of the living room. And of course, they do have room for a dining table over here. There's just not a ton of space between what your living room is and what your dining area is. And honestly, these days, not everyone has a dining table. We definitely got away with removing dining rooms a while back. So it all depends on what your preferences are. And if you're just 2 people, this is definitely gonna be a perfect amount of space for you.
And if you have extra guests over, you do have a nice bar stool countertop here.
And what's nice about these homes specifically is they all have detached 2-car garages. And not everybody likes that, okay? And if you look outside here, you do have about a 15-foot walk from your garage inside. Most of that is covered. We're gonna look out there in a minute. So slight inconvenience, say it's raining and you got groceries, that's something that you're going to have to deal with. But because of that, instead of your garage taking up 200 square foot of what you otherwise would get downstairs, you get the full maximized space in your house. So if 1800 square foot is 900 upstairs, you get the full 900 downstairs instead of 700 square foot. Right when you walk in, you're gonna have a half bath here on the right, but you also get a bonus room. Now this could be a game room, it could be an office, it could be really whatever you want it to be. They have it set up as an office. Clearly, we have space for chairs, we have a desk. You know, they got the whole thing staged, it looks really nice. I like how much natural light is on the wall there. So it just makes it feel nice, bright, and spacious in here. And it certainly helps that we have 9-foot ceilings throughout the first floor, which makes it feel just a little bit larger than it actually is. They really did go all out on the wallpaper. And if you're wondering, no, you probably can't get that in the customization center. We're gonna check out the first non-primary bedroom here. So we have 2 single beds in here right now. This could definitely comfortably fit a queen bed. I don't think it would fit a king necessarily, but what I'm liking is the wainscoting that they're doing all around the base of the wall here. Just gives it a nice kind of custom look. We have 2 windows facing the street as well. Lots of natural light in here. Again, I don't even have the ceiling light on. I don't think it's even necessary during the day. We just have our standard double door closet here. Not a ton of space, but if you've got a kiddo in here or if this is a guest bedroom for you, then it will do just fine. Heading into our second bedroom here, this is about the same size, but in this case, they actually threw a double bed in here to give you some perspective. Again, it could fit a queen bed, but it would be taking up a good amount of the bedroom. And as you can see from my face, lots of natural light again. This time, we actually get 3 full windows. It's essentially a wall of windows in here, which I'm just gonna keep saying this throughout the video. Love the natural lighting. It's one of the best things that a builder can do, in my opinion.
Pretty typical closet space on this one, enough for one person comfortably.
And those 2 bedrooms are of course gonna have a shared bathroom here. Right off the bat, I'm noticing that they have the double sink vanity, which a lot of builders I'm seeing these days, especially in the lower price point, are opting for a single sink vanity. Now this is an upgrade that you can do to add that double sink, and honestly I think that does come down to preference, but it's a nice feature to have. We're seeing the same cabinetry that we saw in the downstairs kitchen. Everything else in here is pretty much builder grade, from the light fixtures to the mirror. We do have a window here. It doesn't let in a lot of natural light, and it is facing towards the house next door. And of course, your standard fiberglass shower insert. Now, one thing that I don't like is there's no linen closet here in the bathroom. Just didn't have enough space for it. The good news is even though they don't get a linen pantry, you do have one here at the top of the stairs. Little odd placement, but that way everyone can use it. You're also gonna have your laundry room up here at the center, so all 3 bedrooms can use it pretty conveniently. I'm not a big fan of having laundry on a different floor. Sometimes it'll be on the first floor with all the bedrooms upstairs. I really hate when they do that. Just like the appliances downstairs, you should absolutely always ask for the washer and dryer to be included with the home. That's another thing that I see builders giving a lot in recent deals. I think it's time that we check out the master bedroom. In here we have a king bed, and we still have a lot of space for a dresser. We got nightstands on both sides of the bed. We do of course have a master closet. Depending on how much stuff you have, this is a good size master closet. It's about 7 feet deep and about 4 or 5 feet wide. I've seen a lot larger master bedrooms, but not for the price point. Now heading here into the master bathroom, we have the same double sink vanity, same mirror, same lighting up there, same cabinetry, but we get a tiled in shower here, different tile on the floor, and we have some recessed lighting above the shower, making it feel just a little bit brighter in here. And of course we have the throne and its own little room, so you can shut the door, do your business in peace while someone's in here washing their hands, taking a shower, brushing their teeth, whatever. And we also get a linen closet. It's a decent sized linen closet, goes back about 2 feet, so you have a good amount of storage in there as well.
Some might argue they use it a little too much these days, but I'm still a big fan of the marble look on these floors. Makes it look a little bit more than a builder grade home. All right, let's take a look at the outside now.
One thing you're going to find on all these homes is that they use fiber cement siding. So we're no longer using your vinyl siding. That stuff's good, but it doesn't last near as long. It's extremely durable. It takes a lot to dent and damage it. Now, if you didn't know, one of the most expensive parts of owning real estate is the land. Now, when you're having an affordable price point, you are giving up some land. So there's not a ton of space between you and your neighbor. Every lot's a little bit different, but for the most part, you're only about 6 to 8 feet from the neighboring house. Now, they've done a good job of making sure that the windows don't line up too much so you can just peer directly into your neighbors, but it's gonna be a little tighter knit community feel here for sure. It is better than the neighboring townhomes that are selling for the same price, and you have shared walls and shared noise. And you do have a little bit of room to have a patio, to have your dog out. You can actually kind of have some breathing room here compared to if you were an apartment, townhome, anything like that.
And here's that 2-car garage, which you will access from the rear of the property through this alleyway here.
This is just wide enough to fit 2 cars comfortably. If you have a really large truck, an extra wide vehicle, then you might have problems. This is definitely your standard garage. There's no extra room width-wise or length-wise. This is your alleyway access where you can enter in through the back of the garage for both this row of houses, but also the row of houses across from you. We don't see a lot of communities using this style, but as we're pushing higher density to make houses more affordable, you're gonna see more and more of houses like these being built. All right, so we just covered the magnolia. Now we're gonna cover the red oak right next door. Now this is perfectly move-in ready. However, it is not staged, so you're gonna have to use your imagination from the last one to kind of picture what it would be like to live in here. For reference, the other one was mid 1700 square foot. This is 1781 square foot, but you do have some bonus options that can take you all the way up to 2100 square foot, which I'll mention here in a little bit. So definitely a different floor plan in here, guys, and there's gonna be an echo because it is an empty house, but right when you walk in, you actually have the staircase kind of jutting out right in front of you, forces you to do just a little bit of a zigzag. I'm not sure if I'm a big fan of that. However, there's some things about this house that I like a lot more than the other one across the street. And again, this is the largest floor plan that they have here in the community, especially if you go up to 2100. First thing I'm noticing in here is just how large the living room looks. Now, this is the same size as the magnolia right next door. However, it's empty. So it goes to show, it depends on how much stuff you have and how good you are at coming up with a layout that optimizes the space. And because this isn't the model home, some of the fixtures and finishes are going to be lesser quality. Now we're showing you what you could do with a lower base price and some of the options that you could upgrade into. So if you're okay with kind of your black light fixtures, something simple that you would walk into Home Depot or Lowe's and just pick off the shelf, some people might want to upgrade after seeing what next door has. That's perfectly fine too. We're also seeing different countertops here. Not that there's anything wrong with these, they're just very builder grade. So if you want to upgrade to the higher package that they had next door for the looks, for the appeal, for the resale value, then that's something that you can explore. You are giving up the sink in the island. However, now you have a lot more island countertop space. It's one solid piece of countertop, which I think looks just as good if you ask me. You do not get the trash can cabinetry pullout that I showed you guys earlier. One thing that we still have is our soft close. Again, I think that's kind of a necessity in today's day and age for taking care of your cabinetry. I think it's just something that most buyers have come to expect. We have the same appliances that you saw next door, so no changes there. And they're still venting to the outside rather than having the filters in the microwave. One thing I am not a fan of is that the Frigidaire dishwasher on this floor plan pops out and it actually blocks your entrance to the pantry. So if someone's doing dishes, need to access the pantry, tough luck. Another thing that you're losing is some pantry space here. So if you can see from the video, it's about half the size that that other closet was. The other closet Harry Potter could have grew up in. This closet would be pretty tight fit for anyone more than 2 people, I'd say. But I think you guys are gonna like this. Right when we walk in, we have a closet here that you can put your coats in, your shoes, something that the other floor plan didn't have. And it gets better because we actually have a full bathroom and a bedroom on the first floor. Now this is not your master, the bedroom's not attached, so you could use this as a nice office, a den, but super convenient if you're having somebody over, if you have maybe like a teenage son or daughter and you want to give them their own little private space. Or if you work from home and you want to have a bedroom downstairs where you can do all your work, have the bathroom right next door, hop into the kitchen, super convenient, and it's a good sized bedroom with, again, lots of natural light. Let's go ahead and head upstairs. I think I'll go ahead and tell you guys right now how we could get to 2,100 square feet. So they haven't done it on this one, and I don't have one finished that I can show you guys right now, so you're gonna have to use a little bit of your imagination. But you can actually have a third floor. You can have another staircase going upstairs somewhere in this hallway here that leads you to a giant bonus room and another full bath. That could be a second master. That could be a living room and a fun gaming area. That could be another office. It could be really whatever you want. It adds about 300 square feet. Now this is definitely going to push you above that $400,000 mark. But for my families who need a little bit more space but still want that affordability, might be a really good option for you. Checking out the first bedroom up here is about the same size as the non-primary bedrooms we saw in the other house across the street. You're gonna have your standard double door closet here, just to have storage for one person. Now on this one, you're only getting one window on this wall, feeling just a little bit darker than I personally would like in this bedroom.
Here in the middle of the hallway is where we'll have access to that full bath for the non-primary bedrooms. We do get the double sink vanity. Everything else in here is very on par with what we've been seeing in the other floor plans. We do have a linen closet inside though. Right next door we have laundry, pretty accessible for all three bedrooms here. Not so much a laundry room, but does the trick.
Right at the top of the stairs we have our second non-primary bedroom. Same size as the other room, same exact double door, but on this one they actually are giving you two windows, which I think makes a big difference on how the room feels overall. And one thing I want to point out is that the two non-primary bedrooms are facing the street. Most people want their master to be facing towards the back. That's just something that I find most people like. And in this one, you have that as well. Versus the primary on the other one was facing towards the street. So something to keep in mind there. Now we have two windows here in the master, one on each side of this back wall here, which is where you would likely put your bed and your nightstands. This is very similar in size to what we saw at the Magnolia. I do believe you're getting a little bit more square footage in here. The bathroom, however, is very, very similar. Same cabinetry. You're gonna have a different countertop than what you saw upstairs. Standard mirror, standard light fixtures that match what you saw downstairs as well. And we're gonna have a fiberglass shower insert with the glass door here versus we had a tiled-in shower over on the Magnolia. Again, it's always going to come down to customization, so try to focus more on the actual floor plan here. For example, instead of having a throne room, you have a little throne nook. Not everyone likes that because now, if you're trying to use the bathroom at the same time as your spouse, it might get a little bit annoying. Good amount of pantry, good amount of storage space there as well. And again, we have the master closet right over here. And this is the exact same closet that we saw in the Magnolia. So definitely some interesting differences on this one versus the Magnolia. I actually really like that there is essentially a second master or a guest bedroom on the first floor, and I think that alone might sell the Red Oak over the Magnolia for people who are watching this video. Outside, we're gonna have the same covered patio, just unstaged, and we're gonna have the same little walking trail up to the two-car garage. We're outside of the Cypress. This is the third floor plan that we're covering today. The mid 1,500 square foot. This is the smallest it gets, but it's also the cheapest it gets. So this is extremely affordable for Knightdale and for the Triangle in general. Let's go check out how much house you get for that price. Walking in, this floor plan is definitely different from the other ones. For starters, you have the half bath pretty much right in front of you when you walk in, and you run into the house, gotta use the bathroom, but it is a little uncomfortable walking straight into a wall here. You kind of have to turn the corner to access the rest of the house. But you do have a really good amount of storage in there, a little bit deeper than the last one that we looked at. I do like that they added a little window right next to the front door when you walk in. That's something I haven't seen on the other floor plans, an option that you can do, and it definitely lets in a lot of natural light. Big fan of that, but in general, this floor plan blows me away with the amount of windows it has compared to the ones that we've walked already. So we have a window actually looking out onto the patio, so someone's knocking at your door and you want to peek through the blinds and see who it is. That's an easy way to do it. But we got 2 more windows on this wall here. There's actually a little pond. You can barely see it on the video. A little pond across the street you have a nice view of. Then you got a window in the corner there. And you got 3 more just on this wall alone. We're already at more windows than I've seen in any other plan. And on top of that, you do of course have a window on top of the sink in the kitchen here. And of course, your back door is also going to be almost completely glass, letting natural light in basically around the entire first floor. Also looking at the light fixtures, another look at a different style. This is just your silver, again, pretty basic light fixtures. The other floor plan that we just came from had the black light fixtures. And we do have the same ceiling fans that I've seen in every floor plan so far, which is kind of that whitish looking metal blade ceiling fan. We're also looking at different cabinetry in this one. We still have soft close, but now we're looking at a gray paint color. We are gonna still have the exact same appliances. I don't think at this point in the video, you should expect anything less. We're also still gonna have it vented to the outside. Seeing that on every floor plan here. However, they don't have a fridge in here. Again, they don't have to provide you a fridge. You gotta ask for it. Now, I think I just found our first evidence that we have less square footage. We are getting a lot more living room space, but look at the bar stool countertop. It's still nice, but it is a lot smaller than the one we just came from. So if you love extra countertop space, and that's like the most important thing to you, and you spend all your time in the kitchen, then maybe you don't want as much living room space. Maybe you don't need all of this, and the floor plan before this is actually one that will work better for you.
Here we see the return of the large walk-in pantry that we saw on the first floor plan, something that I'm sure a lot of you are looking for.
Another thing here, check this out. We actually have a full walk-in laundry room on the first floor. Now, I said earlier in the video, I don't like having a laundry room on a different floor from the bedrooms, and I stand by that. I do love that they have it tiled in, there's room for storage, you got your water heater back in there, but you actually have a real laundry room on this one. You might just be willing to give up laundry on the second floor if you could have a full laundry room, but for others, this might just be too inconvenient. All right, let's go ahead and head upstairs. Now, here's where we start to feel why this is 1,600 square foot or less. Because when you walk upstairs, instead of having a loft, instead of having it be kind of spacious, you don't even have that long of a walkway. It's kind of a little area right here, and it's basically just bedrooms, bathrooms, and that's all you got, right? So walking into the first non-primary here, it's about the same size as the non-primaries on the other floor plans. So it is a small bedroom that is a little bit bigger than what an office would be, and it's gonna have your standard double door closet there. We're gonna have the exact same bedroom right across from it in here. Now, good natural lighting, we got 3 windows there. We only got 1 here, and they did that on the previous floor plan. Not a fan of that, but they're just trying to show you options, right? You know the drill, these 2 bedrooms are gonna share a bathroom. Now, they're missing a light in here, so it's a little dark, but we do have kind of your basic tile in here, which I like a lot more than the LVP that they tried to use at the floor plan before this. Again, customization. But we only have a single sink vanity. Not a lot of storage space, not a lot of countertop space, and when 2 people are sharing a bathroom, they're trying to use it at the same time, they're gonna be fighting over that. As you can kind of see on the video here, it's a little bit smaller, not by a massive difference, and some people might not even notice just kind of looking at it. But the master is situated against the back of the property. Again, that would be my preference, that might be yours, and something that we have not seen on the other 2 floor plans that we get on this is we actually have a decent size his and hers closet, which is something I know a lot of you would be asking for, and I would too. I like a little bit of separation. What's awesome is we found the hers closet. That's the exact same closet that we've been seeing in the master on every floor plan, except for this one throws in another closet. So the guy can put, the little bit of stuff that he has in his own private space. I love that. And I am happy to see that we still have the nice double sink vanity. We have the same matching cabinetry from downstairs, and we have soft close on those too. We also are still gonna get a nice tile selection here in the shower, and it's about the same size of the showers in the other masters as well. And that leads us to the final floor plan, the second smallest. It also means it's the second least expensive of the 4 floor plans here. So if you're looking to be closer to that $350K price point, this might be the one for you. Okay, so I actually like the way this house enters the best. It is a straight shot into the kitchen and living room here. A little bit smaller living room here. Again, this is our smallest square footage size, so that makes perfect sense to me. Even as the floor plan size keeps getting smaller and smaller, the amount of cabinetry that I'm seeing continues to amaze me. You have so much storage in all 4 of these floor plans, and even though this island isn't massive, it's still got some extra storage for you, some drawers to pull out, and you can still get bar stools over here, especially if you have a smaller dining room table. This is the first floor plan I've seen where they have the double sink in here, and some people actually prefer this. I personally do not, but I understand the compartmentalization aspect to it, so that might be something that you would actually prefer. They also went ahead and swapped out the backsplash with kind of this gray look to match the upper cabinets, and I'm not a big fan of having that much gray, but to each their own, right? Everyone gets to make that decision for themselves. But we still have the soft close, we still have the vented microwave, we still have the same appliances that we've been seeing in every single floor plan. Now what we are giving up is a pantry. Look how small that pantry is in comparison to the 3 other floor plans that we just walked. Again, if you spend a lot of time in the kitchen, even though this looks like it's a lot of space, and it is, it's a decent amount of countertop space, you don't have a lot of pantry, something to keep in mind. We do have a half bath as always, pretty much right when you walk in. Vaulted ceiling as we go under the stairs here, and a little window.
Now, in the main hallway, we do have a little bit of a closet here for coats, boots, whatever, but you do have your main water shut off here as well, so can't keep that fully blocked. We also have the laundry, not a laundry room, and kind of awkwardly placed in the middle of the hallway here. However, you might like that because
perhaps the most notable feature on this house is that directly to your right when you walk in, you have access to the master bedroom. This is not a guest suite. This is the true master, making this the only one of the 4 floor plans where you actually have first level living for your primary, which is huge if you can't do stairs, you don't like stairs. A lot of people like having the primary on the first floor. It's just a tad smaller than the other primaries we've been looking at, but I think a lot of people would be willing to give up just a little bit of square footage if they could have a primary on the first floor. The master bathroom is very, very similar to what we've been working with already, with your double sink vanity, the gray cabinetry. We have a nice tiled-in shower that actually matches the floor this time, which I like the cohesive look of that. And in the master closet, we don't have a his and hers like on the last one, but it is a really deep closet, so there's actually a lot of space in here. And we are bringing back the throne room, so you do have a door that you can shut and lock to kind of separate that from the rest of the bathroom. All right, let's go ahead and head upstairs and see what the floor plan looks like now that we're working with a little bit less square footage here. You'll notice that the treads are actually a different product, a darker product than what we saw on the first floor. Now they did that because whatever they used on the first floor, they don't make for stair treads. Not a big fan of having the mismatched flooring, but sometimes that's what builders have to do, right? Something I'm seeing here that we haven't seen in other floor plans is smaller windows with the sole purpose of letting in a little bit of natural light without losing privacy. I wish we would have seen more of those throughout the floor plans, but I like that they added it here. We also get a little bit of a loft space here, so if you wanted a little playroom for a kiddo, if you wanted to set up an extra TV and a small couch, not a lot of space for it, but you could definitely put a desk, something over in this corner to make the best use of this loft. These are the same bedrooms we've been seeing on every floor plan in terms of size, but both of them are gonna get 2 windows in this floor plan, which I'm a big fan of, and you're also getting more closet space. So if you remember his closet from the previous floor plan that we just walked, you're getting one of those in each of these non-primary bedrooms, giving you a little bit more storage. And you guys know the drill. These 2 bedrooms are going to be sharing a bathroom. Take a few steps over here and you've got yourself a double sink vanity. So even though it's our lowest priced product, we actually still get the double sink, unlike the previous floor plan we just walked. Now, one thing I want to point out on this specific unit is that the floor is that light gray that we saw 2 floor plans ago, but we already know that the stairs here are a different color as well. It's gonna make it a pain when it comes time to replace, or even when it comes time to sell. Just something to think about. Something that's also different about this place is we actually have a walk-in attic. We have not seen that on the other 3 floor plans that we've been inside. There's pros and cons to this. One is you don't have to go upstairs. So if you are kind of the retired older couple who doesn't want to go upstairs very often, but sometimes you need to go up there to access storage or whatever, then not having to climb up more stairs would be nice. So this way you can walk in, you have just a little bit of room for putting some boxes in here or something. But other than that, it makes it really easy to access your HVAC unit. So it makes maintenance, makes changing your filters, any sort of work that you need to do, it's gonna be a lot easier with that walk-in attic.
Now, I promised you guys at the beginning of the video we'd talk about their incentives. They're throwing out a 2-1 buy down right now where you get as low as 2.99% interest in the first year if you use their in-house lending. A deal that's getting harder and harder to find in 2025. Your 20% down payment would get you about $2,400 a month, which is still pretty dang good for new construction in a great location. But when we change that to 2.99, your first year's payment is only $1,700, which is fantastic. Goes to $1,900 in year 2, and by year 3 we're at $2,100, which is still a savings of $300 a month. Well, we've looked at some really great options today, and as you can tell, no floor plan is built the exact same. In fact, no lot is built the exact same, and there's a lot more in this community to be built. So if you didn't find exactly what you're looking for, chances are it's on its way. You're going to love this community if you're looking for a private, tight-knit community with built-in schools, including a daycare center and the Thales private school. You're going to love this community if you like built-in amenities like a private swimming pool. You'll love this community if you love being outside, hanging out at the local park, going to the dog park, attending a local event, bringing your kids to the playground, walking some of the local trails. All of this can be found at Knightdale Station. You'll love this community if you love immediate access to shopping, dining, and pretty much everything that you'd want to do. And if that wasn't enough for you, you're still only 15 minutes to the heart of downtown Raleigh if you want to go out for a night. About this community and others like it in and around the triangle, then call or text the number below today, or click that free consultation link in the description. Love to set up a time for you to chat with me and my team. To learn more about living in Raleigh, keep watching one of these videos next. I'm Benjamin, and I'll see you there.